What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Starkand here for a little DodgerHeads Daily, recapping yesterday's win, talking about this afternoon's game, as well as the biggest storyline going on in Dodgers land right now. So, Daniel, let's start with the good news. The Dodgers sweep the Nationals. Yoshinobu Yamamoto dominates a 2-1 victory. Not the prettiest offensive thing we've ever seen in the world, but the Dodgers get it done as the game winds down. Adding a run in the 8th inning to make it a 2-0 lead. The bullpen and Daniel Hudson barely able to make that stand up. But we'll get to Yamamoto in a second. Anything else jump out to you about this game yesterday?
I think it's just that the Dodgers kind of found a way to win despite not necessarily playing well. Obviously, didn't score a ton of runs, and the bullpen was able to hang on there. But look, I mean, it kind of happens every year in April where the Dodgers aren't necessarily in midseason form quite yet, and some fans love to freak out and talk about all their deficiencies and such. But at the end of the day, it's still a really good team, and we saw that against the Nationals. They found a way to get the sweep, and hopefully they could kind of build off that momentum and kind of get rolling from here.
Yeah, 16-11 now for the Dodgers. So the win percentage trending up, the projected win total trending up. We mentioned the bullpen. Vesia, 1 inning, 3 strikeouts. Daniel Hudson wobbly, but Evan Phillips shuts the door with a perfect 2 strikeout inning of his own. But let's talk Yamamoto. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Of course, no runs. This is now 5 starts since that brutal opening start in Korea. In those 5 starts since, 3 have been scoreless. His strikeout totals have been trending up as well, averaging like 7 or 8 strikeouts per game. What have you seen from him? And kind of, is it safe to say that Korea outing was a extreme outlier, and this is more in line with what to expect?
Absolutely. And I thought that at the time too. Like, obviously it was very rare circumstances there where you're flying across the world
Yeah.
and making your first ever start in a new league. That obviously can't be easy. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is a guy that the Dodgers, were willing to give 325 million to. Like, I think the biggest like pitching contract that Andrew Friedman had handed out before that was like 48 million or
Yeah.
something. Like, they don't just hand this kind of money out to anyone, and we're kind of seeing why over the last 5 starts since he got back in the States. I think the biggest thing with him is where is his fastball command at, because it's not really an overpowering fastball. Like, he throws 95, 96. He even hit 97 a couple times yesterday, which is great, but it's not up there sitting 99, 100 like a Bobby Miller or something. So I think the command with that fastball is really important. And when we have seen him get hit, it's kind of he's kind of missing his spots with that fastball. I think all the off-speed pitches are really good, and he's shown ability to command those as well. But when he has the fastball working on top of that, he's really hard to hit, and that's kind of what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it's funny because normally, he came over, command was sort of his A++ thing. And normally when you think of a guy who's struggling with command, you're expecting to see like kind of what we've seen from Paxton, a huge walk
Yeah.
numbers, unable to throw in the strike zone. With Yamamoto, some people are listening to this and saying, you guys are talking about his command. He's never walked more than 2 batters in any game. In fact, he has 6 walks in 6 starts. His problem with command hasn't been missing out of the zone. It has been missing square in the middle of the
Yep.
zone with his fastball. And so I think, and I saw some people on Twitter that kind of track specific pitch locations starting to say yesterday was maybe his best performance yet, from the perspective of still throwing strikes, but where are those in the strike zone? And is he locating them, around the edges, at the top of the zone, at the bottom of the zone, inside, outside, rather than his fastball, which had been 94 and drifting like up center middle of the plate. So good stuff from Yamamoto. We were joking just before coming on. It is the Nationals, so none of us are ready to make sweeping proclamations about the Dodgers having won 4 straight, sweeping them, Yamamoto back. But positive signs there for Yamamoto. Let's get to the big story. Daniel, I have breaking news for you. Tell me if you've heard this before. Shohei Ohtani is in Toronto. Of course, joking about the reports that Ohtani was signing with the Dodgers, that we all needed to stop what we were doing and accept the fact that he wasn't going to be the Dodger because he was going to be in Toronto and signing with the Blue Jays. Turned out to be the Shark Tank guy. Everything and everyone lived happily ever after. The Dodgers are in Toronto. Are you expecting this to be more than just a punchline this weekend, or do you think it's actually going to kind of have some energy, have some legs while the Dodgers are in Canada?
I definitely think it will be a storyline going into this series. Obviously the jokes are hilarious. And he actually is in Toronto this time. Like there's confirmation there. Like you said, it wasn't just the Shark Tank guy. But honestly, I feel bad for Shohei for kind of how a lot of this has played out. Like if you asked me, like, is he gonna get booed tonight? I would probably guess yes. And
Yeah.
it's really to no fault of his own. Like it's not like he led anyone on, or he said he was signing with the Blue Jays and then went back on it or anything like that. Like it was just some negligent reporting by a number of different reporters on that whole Toronto saga. So I feel bad for him that he kind of has to deal with that now. He's probably, if he speaks to the media, he's going to be asked a ton of questions about it, and knowing him, he'll give them absolutely nothing. He just wants to focus on baseball. But yeah, I definitely think it'll be a storyline. I would expect, some boos. But at the end of the day, he's shown that type of stuff doesn't really affect him. He just kind of goes out there and mashes.
I love how you did that in the most politically correct way possible. We'll just leave
Yeah.
that at that. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm absolutely expecting there to be some boos, because you can imagine being a Toronto fan and getting
Yeah.
your hopes up because of the negligent reporting, because of, maybe chasing down some sources that probably shouldn't have been fully trusted as much. So there's going to be that. And again, it's not Ohtani's fault. It's just the nature of, if you're a Blue Jays fan, you were hurt. Ohtani was at the center of that hurt. And so you get a chance to boo him. You're probably going to do it. I was just looking up what his history against the Blue Jays has been. Pretty positive. He's got 8 home runs in his career against the Blue Jays, and 100-ish at bats. And so curious to see if Ohtani can find some success and maybe make those boos a little bit louder. As far as today's game, it's a 4:00 game. P.S. Anthony Witrado and I will be live post game on the Dodger Blue channel. So make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, join us for about a 7 p.m. We're expecting post-game show a little earlier on our Friday night, which is nice. But Gavin Stone on the mound for the Dodgers, Chris Bassett on the mound for the Blue Jays. Dodgers slight favorites. I think they're like minus 120-ish, most places on the money line. What jumps out to you about maybe this particular pitching matchup, or just Dodgers versus Blue Jays big picture?
I would say for tonight, we know that the Dodgers kind of sent out their worst lineup yesterday, so we could expect to get some of the big dogs back in there today. And like you said, Bassett and Stone, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a matchup of aces there, but it's a quality pitching matchup. I'll be curious to see how Gavin Stone looks against a Blue Jays offense that has some good players, and of course Justin Turner playing against his former team. So yeah, it should be a fun series. Hopefully the Dodgers could kind of keep it rolling here, because if they could they already have a 2.5 game division lead right now, and they haven't even played anywhere close to their best baseball. So if they could kind of keep it rolling on this road trip, that would be big.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the props for this one. Whenever a team is facing the Dodgers, the first thing I look at is what's the pitcher's strikeout total for this one. I looked at Bassett. The line is set at 5.5. The over is minus 140. The under is plus money. Now, plus 110 for an under starting pitching strikeout total against the Dodgers, the team that strikes out seemingly infinite number of times, sounds terrifying. Bassett has only gone over this in 2 of his 5 starts. So if you want to sweat something a lot, you can bet the under 5.5. Another not so fun bet, but one that's interesting to me, the game total on this one is 9. Again, Dodgers offense, you're thinking best lineup in there. Well, surely you take the over. Well, the Dodgers from a pitching staff have allowed 4 runs in their last 4 games. And if you were to look at, if the total were to be 9 for the Blue Jays, that under would have hit in 5 of their last 6, with the 6th being a push. So you've got 2 teams who have been pitching well, who on the Blue Jay side, their offense hasn't been responding. So those are 2 to look at. Another one would be if you can find a Gavin Stone walks total. He's coming off of 5 walks in his last outing. Of course, again, not something that you love to bet necessarily, but I was going to say cross country, a cross international flight for the Dodgers. New stadium. I could see that sort of, maybe he's not at his best. Maybe he struggles with command like he did last time. Any of those jump out to you?
I'd say you're walking a a tightrope there, saying the Dodgers are going to put the ball in play, but not necessarily score a ton. But we could get like a 6-2 win or something where Bassett doesn't strike out a ton of guys, and you hit that there. So I don't mind that. I think it's been like almost 10 years since the Dodgers have played in Toronto. So definitely some new surroundings for some of the guys, especially a guy like Gavin Stone, who is a rookie. But yeah, I mean, I like the way the Dodgers were playing in Washington, and I think they could build off that. And like you said, with the pitching staff, the bullpen has kind of settled in a little bit here. We'll see. Obviously, super volatile with relievers, but I think some guys are kind of starting to hit their stride, and we'll see if that could continue.
Yeah. By the way, Stone over 1.5 strikeouts -120. So if I were to put some money down, that might be
walks?
where
You mean walks?
over walks. Yes. Sorry. Walks allowed 1.5. I say strikeouts.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty low for strikeouts.
Yeah. His strikeout number would be higher than that. 3.5 is the total for his strikeouts, with a lot of juice on the over. So again, Dodgers afternoon game, 4:00. Daniel and I are going to have to find 2 screens, one to watch the NFL draft, the other to watch the Dodgers game. And again, Anthony I will be live post game after that one right here on the DodgerHeads channel. That is Daniel Starkand. I am Jeff Spiegel. Folks, enjoy the rest of your day. As always, go Dodgers.